Hey guys, and welcome to another First Impressions video, the video game series in which we look at a recently released game and I give you my first thoughts and impressions on it. Today we're looking at Liberte, which is a top-down roguelite game, I want to say, that shows you through the French Revolution with a weird supernatural twist. The game feels like a load of recipes thrown into a pot and just whatever comes out is there. Some bits feel really well done, other bits feel glossed over and empty, like a shell. What we'll do though is we will go through the game, we will play through, and we will see what we can come up with and what I think. As always, we go through the settings first and we'll jump into the gameplay and show you everything that there is to do, all the different functions and features and how it all works. I'm going to be honest, I like the concept of the game. I like the different ideas they've got, but honestly, the execution of it is horrendous, and I don't like it as a result. But let's go into the settings first and see what's going on. Alright then, the options. The game mode is really nice. There's a lot of different issues here, or things that you can change for accessibility reasons. So you've got your story mode, so you can turn it on or off, so you can have harder battles, or, you know, go for a challenge and get more rewards. Attack cursor, blood on screen, others can join my game, and gameplay stats for when you're playing online. Controls. Honestly, the controls are the worst aspect of this, and I hate them because it's a top-down, and I'm so used and very privileged to have mouse to do movement that when it changes that and makes it not, it's the same issue I had with V-Rising, where movement is just such a ball ache as a result, especially since you can't move the camera, but we'll get into that later. Audio starts it all at maximum. The soundtrack's really good. It's really weird because there's some dialogue, but not a lot of dialogue. Like, the cutscenes are really sporadic with which ones get voice acting, which ones don't. And the way that the text come up on screen is it does it in blocks, which makes it really hard to read. It makes it very hard to want to read it because of the way that it comes up. It's not a smooth transition. And there's a lot of that in this game. There's a lot of jerky and jankiness that make the game feel awkward. But again, we'll get into that when we get into the game. And then your video options. Honestly, the most disappointing options I've ever seen in a game like this. There is quite a lot of rendering to do. There's quite a lot of, you know, there's 3D stuff. There's particles on the screen and things. And to just have nothing outside of resolution is very, very disappointing to see. So yeah, that's your options menu. Honestly, the best thing is the game options. Outside of that, everything is, there's not a lot here. Let's jump into the game. Alright, we're in the game. This is a top-down roguelite style game. This means that there is no save option, which is really annoying when you're playing the prologue, because if you don't complete the prologue, you will have to start the prologue all the way from the beginning, which is just annoying. You can skip the prologue if you so desire, but it's just frustrating. And here is a perfect example of how the text kind of comes up on screen when doing it. It does it in bits, and it's really awkward. I wish it just come up in one go so I can read it at my own time. Or give me voice acting with it so that I can just listen and not have to actually look at what's going on. It's just really awkward. Now, there are cards that you've got the starter melee, you've got the starter ranger, you've got the starter rogue. And basically the way it works is you can get these cards throughout the game, and then you can burn or play them. If you burn them, you will get mana, and then you can use that mana to play the cards. It's a really convoluted system, but a really interesting one as well. And this will give you new skills, or it will give you new sort of strength, you know, talents and things, which is kind of cool. You can then craft cards, and then you can get blueprints as well. Now, as I said, my big issue with this game is the movement. You can't move the camera, you can't zoom out, and you can't zoom in. This is it. This is all you get, and it's really awkward, and I hate not having control over the camera in games like this. I would much rather zoom out and maybe turn the camera around a little bit, especially when I'm trying to see what enemies are coming. On top of that, you've got to use WASD to move, and you use the left mouse button to attack, instead of just using your left mouse button to move and attack enemies when you click on them, which is how every other successful game has done it, and it's successful for a reason, because it works. It's just easier, it's more fluid, and again, it doesn't really... It just compounds with the rest of this game, where it feels sort of janky and disjointed. Now, once you've got through that screen, which is where you can build all your decks and things, you can join in and go through France and do quests to appease this spirit person, and you have the 3 factions that you can work with and work against and stuff. So as you can see, we've got Philip and Anna, and we're listening to what people are saying. And then you basically will choose whether you want to support the rebels or support the crown. We're going to support the rebels because I'm a rebel at heart. And then you get your mission and you go through. So you choose your deck, gives you all your cards there, and away you go. So if we go in here, you'll see that we've got wide slash, old cloth wraps, sand throw, and musical hit. We're going to go with old cloth wraps. We're going to burn it. And then we're going to play wide slash to give us a nice early ability. The combat is pretty simple. You have a 3-hit combo. You can dash and you can roll out the way as well if you double hit space. You go through, you will talk to certain citizens as you do, and you will basically rebuild France and take part of it as you can. You have a certain amount of health, and you have to avoid the shots. Like I say, the combat is fairly simplistic. The biggest issue outside of the camera is the fact that when you move or when you're attacking, you can't move. And your range is pretty limited. You don't have a lot of range. And apparently you get a lot of enemies that come after you very early on. Now, your wide slash that you get early on is quite nice, because it does a lot of damage and can basically save your backside. Now, when I say about the jankiness between things, it generally happens here. When you go from zone to zone, it takes you up in this black screen that only lasts a couple of seconds, and then you're on to the next zone. And it screws around with the immersion, honestly. It's not the best. So yeah, it feels like they do some things really, really well, and some things just slapdash thrown together. I don't know why I'm highlighted like this either. I think it would look better if I just looked like everybody else. Like, it just makes me look a bit weird and odd. So yeah, I don't like this game, but it's not the worst one of this type that I've ever seen. I think it's also permadeath, so if you die, you basically start the run again, and that's your lot. I'm going to die here, so we'll find out. But yeah, I don't know. It's awkward. I feel like it's very, very awkward and not all that helpful. That's also really creepy. But there you go. This is Liberte. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, guys, whether this is a game you would play or not. The story is not bad. It's just a bit weird. It's just very, very weird, as you can tell. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.